to admit it. We got our problems. The worst of it is that we're not gonna solve them. We don't wanna mess up again, but we probably will. We're wishing for changes that aren't gonna happen. And what's even stranger is I hear you laughing with me while we're rolling this rock to the top of the hill. We're still the same old fools, breaking the same old rules, still singing the same old tunes. What else can I do with you? The last thing we need is an unhappy ending. We're way past the point. There's a point in pretending we'll juggle our troubles, never let anything fall. And it's easy to see that we ought to do better, but we both agree we just don't have the energy. Funny we ever can get it together at all. We're still the same old fools, breaking the same old rules, still singing the same old tunes. What else can I do with you? Yeah, we're still the same old fools, breaking the same old rules, still singing the same old tunes. What else can I do with you?
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty one.
Thank you. I wrote that on an airplane.
So nice.
Yeah.
It's the kind of song I would like listen to over and over and over and over again.
Oh, good, good. It's in my little world that makes it a hit.
It's a hit.
Okay, right on.
In fact, I think I already know the chorus.
Oh, good. Well, we do it again. You can sing it with me.
I was gonna say if you do it again, I just need a couple times, then I'll sing it with you.
We can do that.
When I was a kid, I asked my parents for a banjo.
Oh, nice.
Because I was really cool.
Yeah, super cool. Everyone loves the banjo.
Well, my dad was he wasn't a musician, but he was a politically active guy.
Okay.
And he was a self-described peacenik. And so that led him to the music of guys like Pete Seeger and, singing We Shall Overcome and Vietnam protest songs and that kind of thing. So I listened to that and I liked that. So I asked them for a banjo and they went down to the music store and they came back with a banjo, which was great. I'm grateful to them. It was a 4-string banjo, which, how did they know? But Pete played a 5-string banjo, and 4-string banjos are just a different sound and a different thing. But that was okay. They found me a guy, an old guy who taught me how to play polkas on the 4-string banjo, and that was great. I enjoyed it. And then my older brother, Bill, discovered rock and roll and started bringing home this stuff with electric guitars and stuff. And he started playing guitar actually before I did. I was still playing the banjo. And I got to thinking about it and I thought, well, my banjo has 4 strings and I know how to play that, and a bass has 4 strings, so I would probably be okay playing a bass. So I bugged my parents and they bought me a bass. Come to find out that they're not tuned the same. You can't just translate one to the other. But anyway, I had this bass and so I learned how to play it. Mm-hmm. And the bass is like these 4 strings on a guitar, so when my brother wasn't around, I would pick up his guitar and mess around with it.
here's a song that I'm kind of glad that this doesn't have an autobiographical element to it. This is my friend Bob Blair, who I was playing with today, who I've known for many years. He and I grew up in the same town in southern Alberta, and he was telling me a story about a woman. I guess she's what you'd call a lay preacher. I mean, you know, she hadn't been to divinity school or anything. And she came up from Oklahoma to bring the word of the Lord to the youngsters of southern Alberta, of Lethbridge. And by all accounts, she was very beautiful. And I think probably that more than her preaching made a big impression on lots of people. And I never met her. So I had to make up stuff about her in order to write a song about her, which I did. And then I thought I would better probably put some young fellow in the same room as her and see what happened. So that's this story. It's called The Holy Roller. Sweetly from her lips, a little off-white dress flowed so sweetly round her hips, and just as surely as the devil, she only wanted me for my soul. But I love to watch that holy roller roll. Every Sunday morning I sat upright in my pew, listening to the lessons, wondering what a boy could do to find salvation with the angel with the eyes of crystal blue. And when she sang those sacred songs, Lord, every verse rang true. And the teaching of the Lord flowed sweetly from her lips, a little off-white dress flowed so sweetly round her hips, and just as surely as the devil, she only wanted me for my soul. But I love to watch that holy roller roll. She spoke about the garden that was paradise on earth, and when she told about the serpent, I learned what that fruit was worth. And when she taught about the rapture, Lord, it brought me to my knees, singing hallelujah, sister, take me with you, won't you? Please. She left one Sunday evening in a caddy in a hurry with a man who said he only took direction from above. He was a singer and a drinker, and I know he was unworthy, but God called on her to save him with her sweet celestial love. And the teaching of the Lord flowed sweetly from her lips, a little off-white dress flowed so sweetly round her hips, and just as surely as the devil, she only wanted my mortal soul. But I love to watch that holy roller roll. She sang, this little light of mine, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it, this little light of mine. She sang, I'm gonna let it shine, 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 let it shine.
Yeah. Wow.
we get a little quick description on that guitar?
This is a guitar that I made. It's a Jimbo, and that this little kind of sickle affair thing here. This is a Hep, which is sort of a tool that, as I understand it, German peasants who worked in the wineries used to trim the grapevines, and so people who used those were called Heplers. So it's like my family crest. So it's made of a bunch of different wood. So the top is spruce, which is pretty standard for a flat top guitar. So spruce is a soft wood, and the thing that they say about spruce is that the ratio, even though it's not a super strong wood, the ratio of its strength to its weight is favorable. And then the sides are walnut, which is pretty, so that's why I use it. And it's a hardwood, and the back also has walnut in it, and this kind of really spectacular, slightly gaudy piece of curly maple. The neck this is walnut also, but obviously from a different board than that, because it's very different looking. And the bridge and the fingerboard are these are, my nephew had a house in Calgary that had this exotic hardwood flooring that they call Masaranduba, or bullet wood, sometimes they call it. So it's a I think a South American hardwood, but it's common enough that they use it for like flooring and stuff. But it's very hard, and his floor got flooded and basically ruined, and so the insurance company, replaced it with something much less exotic and interesting. So I just buy boards. I don't buy like already cut up for guitars kind of thing. I go to the local hardwood supplier, Windsor Plywood usually, and I buy boards, and what they say is you just cut away all the parts that don't look like a guitar, and you're left with the guitar. Well, this one, my kids, in particular one of my sons, is a very conscientious guy who's worried about the state of the world, as he should be, and he's a science-minded kind of guy. So I tell him that, well, you're a science-minded kind of guy, get solving these problems, He was working on something that he figured was going to help with the impending food shortages, and I said that's good. And then I think he got distracted by Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. But so I tell him, when you're done that, you can solve the whole climate change thing and stuff. And he sort of looks at me and goes, well, it's really my job, right? It's my generation that caused a lot of it. So I tell him, well, I've done my bit. I wrote this song. Where you gonna go when the well dries up? Where you gonna go when the coastline floods? Where you gonna go when the mountain's on fire? Where you gonna go with all your money? Everything you take from somewhere. Every dime you make, there's something lost. Where in all the world in your accounting were you counting what those dollars cost? How much your dollars cost? Where you gonna go dries up, where you gonna go when the coastline floods? Where you gonna go when the mountain's on fire? Where you gonna go with all your money? Run into the rock, there will be no rock. You will find no hiding place round here. Selling off the world for your profit. Well, come off it, watch it disappear. Your world will disappear. Where you gonna go when the well dries up? Where you gonna go when the coastline floods? Where you gonna go when the mountain's on fire? Where you gonna go with all your money? Where you gonna go? Where you gonna go? Where you gonna go? Where are you gonna go? Where you gonna go when the mountain's on fire? Where you gonna go? Where you gonna go? Where you gonna go?
Very nice.
There you go.
Very nice.
We're still the same old fools, breaking the same old rules, still singing the same old tunes. What else can I do with you? Yeah, we're still the same old fools, breaking the same old rules, still singing the same old tunes. What else can I do with you? There we go. Thank you, Kaylin.